Linda Ofori Kwafo is the board chair of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and she's also the executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Just to pick her thoughts on what's going on. So, Linda, thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening, Donald. Good evening to your viewers.
So, what do you make of the current situation, the resignation of the head of the institution of which you are board chair?
Okay, so well, for me, it's a surprise. I must say, from where I sit, I am quite disappointed. I'm disappointed not just because I am the board chair, but also looking at the commitment, the energy that civil society organizations, including myself, put in developing the act that really set up the Office of the Prosecutor. So I'm making reference to the Act 959, and where we are now, I am just disappointed in the development, but then also, not me alone, I think many Ghanaians are disappointed, and the board, especially Recruitment, is very diligent that are on the issue, so we would be missing that.
Now, were you and the board aware of what was going on? This has been like a 2-year saga from the appointment February 2018 to date, and looking at all that has happened. Is this something the board was aware of in terms of, for example, the challenges the office was facing in getting accommodation, the fact that they are not being paid for 2 years? Did you know any of these things, or are these things a surprise to you?
Okay, so Bernard, if you are really taking a good look at the OSP Act, you realize that it's well formulated, well structured, and I think it's one of the good laws that we have in the country. That is one challenge, so it's not the perfect legislation that we fight with. If you make reference to Section 3 of the Act, and actually if you just want to look at even the first Section 3.1, you get to know what the functions of the office is, and go further, the Section 6, we look at the functions of the board. And so the board, Section 6 talks about the board having the responsibility to ensure the formulation of policies that are necessary for the achievement of the office of the office. And the B part is where I want us to concentrate a bit on, to ensure the proper and effective performance of the functions of the office. Obviously, some of the issues that have come up in the letter submitted by the OSP, the responses from the President actually fall within the responsibilities of the board. We talk about the accommodation, we talk about the recruitment of senior personnel, we talk about salaries and all these things. Some of these discussions actually came to the board. But then, I earlier on had mentioned that this is a very good legislation because it seeks to ensure the security of the office, the Special Prosecutor, the independence of the Special Prosecutor. And so in the performance of our responsibility as a board, we strive to a very large extent to not interfere. So we would advise where the advice is needed, we will support where the need arises, we will talk about these issues and discuss the approaches in as much as that we always try to give the OSP take the lead.
So let me understand you right. You're saying that the board is not the one at the forefront of trying to secure accommodation or any of these things, but you will be aware that the office is going through these challenges, but it's not in your place to solve them. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the board has a responsibility to ensure the proper and effective performance of the functions of the office.
Okay.
During a new office, getting accommodation is key.
Okay.
When the senior personnel with the aspects that we are supposed to advise on the treatment of senior personnel is also important. So everything that is necessary for the effective functioning of the office would obviously come to the attention of the board. So some of these matters came to the attention of the board for its deliberations. But then what I'm saying is when it came to resolution, we would advise, because if you look at the Act, I think it says we would advise in the recruitment of senior personnel. So we would advise. What are we looking at doing about accommodation? We get a briefing, we try to follow up, but then we always try to give the OSP the lead interacting with the key stakeholders and ensuring that the resolution.
I see. So just to get a sense, so for example,
that I believe they adopted not so that we don't interfere in the office and in the functioning of the.
I get that, Madam. I'm just asking. So for example, we are told that there have been like 3 or 4 different places considered for accommodation. Will the board express a view about whether the Get Farm building was better or the GNTC building was better, or you are not? Does that come to the board level? Or this is purely the chief executive and his deputy?
It comes to the board level at different stages. So the conversation. So when I talk about the whole conversation about accommodation, will come to the board level. The discussions will happen. The advice would be discussed, the advice given, and then the implementation of the way forward would be led by the Special Prosecutor and the office. So that's what I'm trying to see. So then I wouldn't say we never discuss matters concerning accommodation. There were even times that I know board members actually went to see some of the places. So then at these discussions,
okay. Fair enough.
But then after discussion, then the implementation of whatever decision, or we all agreed on the expressively or the office.
Fair enough. Another issue that came up was the fact that the OSP had few staff who were on secondment. So his view was that they would not be really loyal to the OSP but to the organization from which they are being seconded. And the fact that they needed to be renewed suggests that they would not work with that security of tenure. I mean, what role does the board have in recruitment of staff? Because he says he has only, I think, 2 investigators and 3, lawyers or prosecutors.
I will always make reference to the Special Prosecutors Act 2017 as 959, which section 6 once again and look at section 1C. Says that the board has a responsibility to advise the Special Prosecutor on the recruitment and selection of the secretary and other senior staff of the office. So if you have such a responsibility, then obviously matters in relation to the hiring of senior people will come to the attention of the board and they will deliberate on certain matters.
So, can you explain to Ghanaians why he had less than 6 staff? Because apparently he didn't have more than 3 investigators and 2 prosecutors or something like this. Why didn't he have the requisite number of staff to work with? Do you know?
But I'm sure you've seen the letter written by both parties, and you've seen it in the outlining the circumstances maybe under which some of these things might have occurred. So then you have to recruit senior staff, and the current place might be too small. What steps can be taken? And so discussions happened, some of the decisions were made, but also at the time that this recruitment has been ongoing for some time, it has not been completed because sometimes the discussions then will be just completed where would be even be accommodated. But then there were big taken to even just make certain arrangements for some people to senior people are must to start with the cost. But they just the process was not completed. But as I said from the onset, deliberations and these matters came to the attention of the board.
Fair enough. Just finally, was the board aware Mr. Amidu intended to resign, and could you have done anything to prevent it?
Okay, so then if you take a closer look at the letter of the Special Prosecutor, you realize that the board was not scottish. Some of the challenges that have been mentioned, as I said, we were aware of it, but then it came as a surprise to me as the chair and also the board as a whole. And in terms of whether we would have been able to prevent it from happening, I'm sure there's actually reasons for his resignation, and some of them are related to latest development that has not come to the attention of the board because that we might not have left to be able to discuss matters in relation.
Okay.
Yes. So the recent happening, we might not have come to that thing. So we were not anticipating.
You are not aware. Okay, fair enough. We'll leave it here. Thank you for talking to us. Ofori Kwafo is the Board Chair of the Office of Special Prosecutor. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on Citi TV's YouTube channel. Subscribe for more videos on The Point of View. My name is Bernard Avile. Thank you.
The Point of View with Bernard Avile. Monday and Wednesday nights, only on Citi TV.